What's going on, YouTube? Welcome to a Star Citizen discussion video, and just a heads up, I apologize in advance. I am sick as a dog. It's just that time of year. I'm getting a cold, so I sound like I sound like dog shit, to be completely honest with you. But I had a question asked in one of my comments, and it really made me think. And as I was replying to it, I realized I was talking like I was writing a novel to this guy, and he asked me, should I play Star Citizen? I'm thinking about it, essentially. As I'm typing that, I'm like, you know what, I'll do a video on this, because there's a lot of negatives, there's a lot of positives, and to be completely honest with you, I lean more towards the positive side, but I'm also very heavy on the negative side. Like I said, I've had to take my breaks, and right now I'm not uploading SC as often as I used to because of that. But I do still lean more on the positive side, and I don't want to come off as like a white knight or anything, and I want to be honest. So I compiled some thoughts from members from my Discord. I was like, hey, I want to work on this video, but I don't want just my thoughts here. I want your guys' opinions too. Tell me why people should play SC. Tell me why they shouldn't play SC. And we kind of compile some stuff here. And I didn't grab everybody's responses because honestly, it would have just taken me way too long. And you would have just been hearing me read for, I don't know, however long, half an hour, if not longer. You guys don't want to see that. So I grabbed a couple of the best positive responses and a couple of the best negative responses, and I'm gonna read them to you, and then I'll give you guys my own takes. So I think I'm going to start off with the positives. To be completely honest with you, I want to bring in the good news before the bad news kind of stuff, and kind of go from there, and then I'll give you, after the negatives, I'll give you my positive and my negative. But full disclaimer, I blacked out everybody's names from the Discord just for privacy's sake. Honestly, if you guys from the Discord are watching this video, you know your response. But I just wanted them to have a little bit of privacy. I didn't want people reaching out to any of these guys and be like, no, you're dumb, blah, blah, blah. I don't want any of that. So I did black out the names. So let's start off with a simple one. If you want more out of a space game than the arcadey feel of other titles, feel like there's just something lacking in other games, or enjoy a game with a community that, even with the game's age, are still very helpful people, Star Citizen is definitely a game for you. And honestly, that's 100% true. Yeah, don't get me wrong, global chat can get a little toxic, but for the most part, if you're asking questions in global chat, like if you're new, you don't really have anybody to reach out to, 9 times out of 10, the community is willing to help. Like, hey, you want to do this, this, or this, you know? And it's one of the best things that, one of the biggest things that actually kept me coming back to Star Citizen when I first started. So another simple one. This one can come with a couple of negatives too, but I wanted to point it out because it's another simple one, and it is true. If you want to play a game that is constantly improving at adding new features, content, and technology, sometimes it might be more of a 1 step forward, 2 step back kind of thing, but overall the game does improve, which is true. Yeah, we did have kind of our 318 fiasco where the game just sucked for a while, but they are rare. CIG is very optimistic about or that's not the word I'm looking for. Ambitious, that's the word I'm looking for. They're very ambitious and want to have like this huge game. There's a reason why this game's been in development for 11 years, but they're very ambitious. But sometimes, you know, testing new technology and stuff like that doesn't go so well. So, yes, it does improve, but it does feel more like a 1 step forward, 2 steps back. But the game does eventually improve. And honestly, I see that as a positive in my eyes. Now, for the third one, this seems a little bit more personal, but I think it does apply here as well. But this person said, because this is the space game I always wanted. I'm usually a flight sim kind of guy. I started playing air combat sims, then moved to flight sim when it met my standards because I love aviation. Which is another thing, I love aviation myself. But I've wanted something like an immersive space sim for a long time. I've been watching space games over the years, and while many of them looked great, none of them gave me the sense of just being there that Star Citizen gives me just that. I still have a lot to work on combat skills in Star Citizen, but haven't concentrated on that because I love going and doing mining, salvage, cargo hauling, and exploration. I also love that it's going to get much bigger in the future. To me, it's really exciting. It's the space sandbox I've always wanted. Sometimes it does get frustrating, but I know the developers don't want the bugs we run into anymore than we enjoy enduring them. It will get better. Nobody has ever done this before, and I'm here for it. So this one does kind of come hand in hand with what the previous one said. Like we got bugs, but sometimes we just get some good laughs during them, even though we're kind of tired of them, and the developers are too. But nobody has really done a space game of the scale. Like right now, we only have one system. Don't get me wrong, and you can go play Starfield and play what's it called, No Man's Sky or Elite Dangerous, and have all these damn systems, but nothing really has that flight sim-esque like flight style that Star Citizen has. And that's another thing that keeps me coming back, is because I'm so addicted of how the flight is. Because again, like I said, I love aviation. I wanted to be a pilot. Unfortunately, it didn't work out, but I'm still kind of going for that dream. But it really scratches my sci-fi / aviation itch. So this last positive is a little bit of a long one, but it brings up very, very good points. And I'm gonna just apologize right now. Reading this stuff with a sore throat sucks. So that's why there's long pauses and me gasping for air and stuff, because I'm trying to breathe out of my mouth and talk and hold back my coughs all at the same time. So I apologize for that. But this one does say, I have been around a long time and played a lot of MMORPGs. I have alpha as well as beta tested games that have never saw the light of day, and some of that are being the best are being played to this day. Still, I am speaking from a very direct, relevant experience. This is the finest attempt at full immersion space sim, with everything rendered so beautifully, it is at times literally breathtaking. The overall project is the most ambitious to date, to my knowledge. Some games have come close to this level of ambition, like EVE Online, but nothing compares to the sheer experience, the sheer immersion, the sheer unadulterated fun that Star Citizen opens for us. The absolute potential is staggering. What should amaze people even more is this is all currently occurring in one of hundreds of solar systems that will eventually open to everyone. One. It boggles the mind looking at it from the perspective that this is just a mere fraction of what Star Citizen will be in the raw and unpolished form, and it is the most epic, accurate, engaging space sim ever. This is what the child in me watching Neil Armstrong walk on the moon was feeling exemplified. I wanted to be there, out there in the darkest sea. Yes, that is a Starfield reference. Sue me. I'm sorry. I know exactly who wrote this, and it's exactly how he talks. I'm sorry. All right. I want new vistas, watching the suns rise over alien worlds, exploration, and the sheer thrill of being out there in the unknown, discovering, living, and doing. Star Citizen makes all of that a reality, or the closest thing to reality that our generations will experience. There is nothing to break your immersion. There is not a single loading screen. Everything is progressively rendered seamlessly. You wake up in a bed, navigate your way to your terminal, retrieve your ship from storage, ride the elevator to your ship, go through startup, request launch clearance, and fly. Fly up or out into space. Even the faster than nominal speed jump drive travel is rendered progressively. It is not a loading screen. The immersion is near total. When I approached the project long ago under my main account, I was backing a single-player space combat sim from Chris Roberts, the man who literally made my young adulthood so thrilling with his vision and games like Wing Commander. I got so much more than I bargained for. Say what you will about the overall cost / years of development, this technology, this kind of game, this concept has never ever existed before. It will break the expectations of gamers on the sim side at the least, and reset them to something grander, something so big as to be literally a whole new universe. Well, I'm not gonna elaborate too much on that one since that one is kind of a long one, but I will say that 100% he's right. You know, I've never been so immersed in anything in my entire life aside from Cyberpunk recently. Like the past week I've been playing Cyberpunk, and I was just like, I didn't hear anything. Even my mom walked up to me right next to me. I didn't hear her because I was so immersed in Starfield, and that's the same thing that happens with me with Star Citizen. Is I just get so into it that I just don't hear anything around me, and that could be a bad thing too. But yeah. Now to move on to some negatives, because as I've said in the past, that this game isn't for everybody. You know, it tests patience. As much good as there is, there's also a lot of bad, and it's mainly because of bugs and just honestly, yeah, it's bugs or server stability and stuff. You know, I don't want to sound like a white knight. I want people to be aware of some of the bad things that comes with Star Citizen. And this first one is, if you expect the game to be polished and not a buggy experience, get easily frustrated with changes made in each patch, partial or full wipes, very few patches a la Tarkov and such, SC probably won't be for you. So basically what he's saying is, like, if you just want to hop in a game and enjoy it and not have to like endure your patience in dealing with bugs and server stability, or if you just want to keep grinding and keep moving up and up and up and up and keep all your progress, the game wouldn't be for you. Because as much as CIG doesn't want to do wipes, they do it when there's big implementations. And honestly, personally, I like wipes because, you know, it gives me kind of a fresh start. You know, I get a fresh perspective on things. But I know some people don't like that, so I want you guys to be aware of those. Now, if you guys have like an older rig or not a powerful rig, this one might hit you at home a little bit. But as someone with an older rig, it can be frustrating knowing that a lot of performance issues can be server-sided. A lot of the systems being reliant on tick rate can be good or bad depending on what you're doing in game. On a server with low FPS, doing PvE bounties can range from super easy to god damn it, the server never updated the target. I feel that. Resulting in bugged mission status, to the infamous high FPS equals ground FPS combat scales to impossible when you are aimbotted from around a corner by infantry units that can swag reload while one tapping you. I actually don't exactly know what he means by swag reload, but regardless, yeah. The rig that I used to have was kind of a lower end. It had an i5 11400 and a 1660 Super. The one I started or did my full first year of content creation on, and it took a while to get videos done sometimes. Like those 20-minute videos sometimes took 4 to 5 hours to record, just because of those issues I used to have on an older rig or on a weaker rig. So yeah, I can relate to that. Now this negative is a little blunt, but it kind of hammers the point at home. This game isn't for people who need instant gratification. If you don't enjoy the journey, you probably won't like SC. Also, while in the long run, SC will probably have many of the features that are in current games that they like, it's going to be a while before those features are in Star Citizen. If you need a finished game experience, this isn't for you. My only personal gripe about the game, as I understand it, is there won't be any completely lawful systems. I would like a few lawful systems where you could go fly and do something without any risk of piracy, because sometimes I just want to chill and enjoy the vistas without having to wonder if every ship I encounter is a threat. I would make I would make a profit much less in those types of systems if they do make them risk versus reward. But some days I just don't want to deal with someone who is out there just to blow shit up. Although I do get the appeal. I used to fly combat sims. I just think we should be able to have the choice in some systems within the game. Now, for that, I do kind of understand. Sometimes people just want to chill. And I do think there's some stuff like that currently within Stanton, where you can just kind of hang out and do some stuff, like it's either mining or salvaging. But there is always going to be that risk, because sometimes I see, I'm not going to lie, sometimes I just see somebody out there and I'm like, I want to shoot them. Doesn't matter what ship they're in, I want to shoot them. So I get that. But I do think, now I'm just speculating, this isn't like a confirmed thing, but I do think Stanton is going to become one of those systems, because I think Stanton is going to be considered the starter system in the long run, where I think Stanton is going to be more lawful and you won't have to worry about risks like that as much, at least in Stanton. But again, I'm speculating, I'm not 100% sure on that. Now I got one more negative for you guys, and this one yeah. Yeah, let's just call it that. Overall, the game has broken mechanics in the game engine. The errors are epic. Rubber banding, desync, falling through the physical architectures, dying while standing still in a hospital gown in a station alone, being ejected out of your ship when you get out of the pilot seat. MSR, I'm looking at you. Your ship entering quantum and leaving you behind, floating in space, Hornet Ghost twice in the last patch. The glitchiest of any game, AI where the opponents are so dumb. 1 second and filthy deadly bastards, and with computer-like reflexes the next. That cannot only see through, but shoot through walls. Which is, yeah. Yeah. Oh my god. Now, a lot of those I actually haven't dealt with, aside from the MSR, and then falling through the planet and or the space station after waking up in the hospital. But I've heard, being in VCs with all the guys, of those things happening, so I'm very well aware that those happen. The desync is very, very prominent, like whether it's a PvE bounty or you're doing a PvP fight, desync is still there, and that comes hand in hand with like server stability stuff, which does suck. But yeah, this is probably the biggest negative out there, which is desync, and then just things that ruin your flow like this. Now, for my positives and negatives, even though I did point out a few while elaborating on some of these comments, but there's two things, one negative, one positive, that I haven't seen anybody really touch on. And they're more personal, but I think they're worth speaking. So I'm going to cover my negative first. And that is, yes, the Star Citizen community can be very, very helpful. But there's a good majority of the Star Citizen community that is very toxic. And it has nothing to do with the game. Obviously, it's just I guess how people are. People just talking smack in global chat. There's some racism and homophobia I pull up, and admittedly, I do report that, because I don't tolerate that in my Discord. Why would I tolerate that in a game I love? But some salt is encouraged in my opinion. But when people are literally throwing hate or just acting like they're the hottest shit in all of Star Citizen, that doesn't fly well with me, and I don't like that. So like there's definitely some toxicity within the player base, but that comes with all games. But I just want to point that out too. So not everybody's helpful, but most people are. My positive though, and again, this is more personal, But the honestly, this game has started a dream of mine that I didn't even realize I wanted. I originally started content creation because I was unemployed, and I had Star Citizen and never played it, so I downloaded it and played it, fell in love with it, and I started doing YouTube on it while I was unemployed because I was just bored. Because of Star Citizen and that, I have made some of the best friends that I've ever had, you know. Um, like I have numerous amounts of friends now because of that. I treat everybody in my community as a friend. You know, they're nobody's just an outsider or just chilling in Discord. We're all talking smack, and it's the friends I've made and the community we've all built from the channel. And that's all because of Star Citizen, and the ability to make friends is there when in a lot of other games nowadays, you know, Call of Duty or anything like that, in my opinion at least, don't really have that feeling anymore, don't have that possibility anymore. But Star Citizen still did that for me. And honestly, if you want to make some friends, like make friends that, yeah, you only speak through, they're only a voice to you in a headset, but you know, if you want to make friends, there's a big possibility there, and that is the biggest positive I can even bring up for Star Citizen. So in the long run, I'm not telling anybody not to play this game. I'm not telling anybody to play this game. I just wanted to bring you guys some insight, especially if you're looking into playing Star Citizen, why you shouldn't, or why you should and why you shouldn't play the game, you know. Because I feel like that's a difficult question to answer when it comes to this game because of the various things I've talked about, or the various things I've talked about or read about on some of those comments. It, like I said, it's just a hard thing to say, or a hard thing to answer, but I'm glad I was finally able to sit down and actually give you guys some kind of insight. Should you play the game? Yes. Should you not play the game? Yes. You know why? Because I'm not gonna tell people what they should and shouldn't do. They should just, you know, if they really want to try it, go for it. If you don't, that's fine, man. Like, it's totally fine. Do what you want to do. But I think having some insight on a game that is controversial, is very helpful. So I hope you guys found this video, I guess, informative. But if you did, go ahead, leave a like, hit that subscribe button, and thank you to everybody who submitted their thoughts on the forums in my Discord. And I know I didn't use everybody's, but then this video would have dragged on for half an hour, 45 minutes, and just didn't want that. So, but thank you for everybody's responses to that. Thank you for your help, because it did help me out quite a bit, because I probably would have just rambled and said the same points over and over again like I normally do. So I will see you guys in the next video and around the verse. Alrighty, have a good one.